Takadosh Boker Or, Masechet Batra Daf Yomi Daf Kufchet Amud Aleph 128a1. We are by the two dots, where the two dots says Shalach lei Rabbi Abba Rabbi Yosef Bar Chama. So sent Rabbi Abba right to Rabbi Yosef Bar Chama. Halacha. What is the halacha? Govim min avadim. The halacha is we're going to collect a debt from a person that passed away from even avadim kinanim. That means if a person passed away, uchayav kesef v'yesh lo eved kanani. Shayitomim yarshu, right? That the yitomim came and they inherited the orphans, so you could collect from it. Rav Nachman Amar and Govim. Nachman says you can't collect. Shalach le Rabbi Abba le Rabbi Yosef bar Chama. Sent Rabbi Abba to Rabbi Yosef bar Chama. Halacha is shlishi b'sheni kasher. When you have a karov, a family member, which is a shlishi to a sheni, a third one to a second one, so it's going to be kasher. What does that mean? We know that a rishon v'rishon, right, is meaning that in families, right, here it says achim, brothers are called dor rishon. Asheni b'sheni, right, he says is going to be the yeladim shelahem, right? If it's going to be one more, it becomes a shlishi b'shlishi. So basically, it all depends on, now you could have rishon b'sheni. Rishon b'sheni is, for example, an uncle and a nephew. Because the uncle is the rishon, the sheni is the achyan. Yeah, v'im ze ben achyan, the rishon v'shlishi. No, עוד פעם, שני אחים, זה ראשון בראשון. אח ואחיין זה ראשון בשני, או שני בראשון. בן אחיין ואחיין, זאת אומרת, דוד רבא, זה ראשון ושלישי. Yeah, 1 and 3. This basically goes down, like you have a chart and it goes down. So he says, the halacha is that shlishi b'sheni is going to be mutar. Rav Amar af b'rishon, even a shlishi b'rishon. Or baravashi achshar be'abba de'abba. So he comes and he says, even the Saba, right? Even Mamash, the grandfather, which is going to be the shlishi b'rishon. But the halacha is not like more baravashi. Fine. Shalach lei Rabbi Abba le Rabbi Yosef bar Chama. Right? Aya yodea lo be'edut karka. Ad shelo nistame. V'nistame pasul. What happens right now if somebody knows, somebody that's an iver, he knew edut, he knew testimony, right? Basically, he knew about testimony. Now he says, if he knew the testimony, right, when he wasn't blind, and now he became blind, he's still pasul la'id. Okay, he's going to be pasul la'id. Ushmuel Amar, and Shmuel says, kasher. It's going to be kasher to testify. If shar de mechaven mitzanahana, because who yachol lechaven the places through simani, aval leglima, but the beged of his friend, lo, he cannot testify. Right? Why? Because now he can't see. He has to see. Rav Sheshat Amar, Rav Sheshat says, afilu leglima. Afilu leglima, even for a glima. Why? If shar de mechaven midat orko midat rochbo, he could come and he could be mechaven the orech and the rochav of the beged. Meaning he could come and tell you how much is the length and the width of the clothing. Aval lenaska, which is a piece of silver, no, he cannot testify. Rav Papa says, afilu lenaska, even for the dut of naska, if shad de mechaven midat mishkelotav, right? You could be mechaven to the midah of the mishkelotav. What is the mishkal? Okay, it's fine. So says the Gemara Meitvei. So we're going to ask the following question. What happens if he knew about edut until, right, he became a son-in-law, and now he became, right, the chatan. He was normal, right, and then he became cheresh, right, pitach, right, v'nistama, and then became nistama. So he was able to see, and then he became blind. Shafui v'nishtata. He was normal, and all of a sudden, he became a shoteh. Pasul. In all these cases, even though during the time when he saw the testimony, he was kasher, since at the time of the relating, the agadah, he's not going to be kosher. Aval, haya yodea lo be'edut ad shelo nasa chatano, but to do the chatanut, which means he knew the testimony, and then he got married to the daughter. And then nasa chatano, right? Umeta bito. And then, right before the testimony, right? Meaning one more time, he saw it keshulo ya chatan shelo. Hu yitchaten im habat. Yeah, and then habat meta. And now he's once פיקח, ונתחרש וחזר ונתפקח. He was a פיקח, then he became a חרש. And then again he became a פיקח. Or פיתח ונסתמך חזר ונתפתח, שפוי ונשתח חזר ונשתפה. In all these cases, כשר. Why? זה הכלל, this is the general rule. שכל שתחילתו סופו בפסול, פסול. If the beginning was פסול, or the end of was פסול, פסול. But תחילתו וסופו בכשרות, if the beginning was kosher, and the end was kosher, אפילו אם באמצע היה איזה משהו לא כשר, that means in the middle it became something that was a problem, it's still going to be כשר. Right? So says the Gemara, קוף כ"ח עמוד ב', תיובתא דכולהו תיובתא. It's a question of all the Moraim that we said above, except for the Biaba, that they went and they said it's going to be kasher, ad shenistama le'edut karka, באמת this is going to be a ראיה ניצחת. באמת it's a תיובתא. Okay, fine. מה? ואני לא אלמד אותך. שלח רבי אבא לרב יוסף בר חמא, קוף כ"ח עמוד ב', שלח רבי אבא לרב יוסף בר חמא, האומר על תינוק בן הבנים, נאמן. If somebody says something to do with a tinok ben abanim, he's going to be believed. But Rabbi Yochanan Amar, eno ne'eman. Right? Rabbi Yochanan says, he's not going to be believed. Now the question is, what did he say? Ma hu amar? Haomer al tinok, amar davar mesuyam, it says over here. So he says, if he said something on a tinok ben abanim, ne'eman, zeh davar chadash, derech agav. Yeah? What does that mean? Because this is the fifth sack of Rabbi Abba. So he says, if you're going to say something of a tinok ben abanim, it can be ne'eman. Rabbi Yochanan says ne'eman. מה הוא מדבר? על מה? אמר אביי אחי כמה, that's what I'm saying. האומר על תינוק בן הבנים יירש כל נכסי נאמן. If somebody's going to say on a תינוק between the other בנים, יירש כל נכסי, he's going to inherit all my properties, נאמן. Right? כי רבי יוחנן בן ברוקה, just like רבי יוחנן בן ברוקה. Right? Because רבי יוחנן בן ברוקה says that a person could come and give the Yerusha to one of his inheritors and take away everybody else. That's a shita of Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka. But Rabbi Yochanan Amar, eno ne'eman. Why? Rabbi Yochanan holds like Rabbanan, שאתה לא יכול לשנות. אתה יכול לשנות בתור מתנה, אבל לא בתור ירושה. So to mean you could change בתור, it's a present. Yeah, you could always give a present. But not betور that it's a ירושה. So ask the Gemara, matkif la Rava. So Rava comes and he asks, hay ne'eman ve'eno ne'eman? Yirash v'lo yirash v'male. Why did we say, haomer al tinok ben abanim ne'eman? Yirash or lo Yirash. Elamar but rather Rava says, Hechal doesn't say. Haomer al tinok ben abanim bechor hu ne'eman. Rabbi Yehuda, right? Ke Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yochanan ne'eman ke Rabbanan. You remember we said that we had a machloket. Are you believed neged a chazaka or not? Meaning, you have a chazaka she'echad hu bechor. ועכשיו האבא בא ואומר, no, הוא הבכור. מישהו אחר הבכור. So, do we say that he's ne'eman or not ne'eman? So the bechor, right? If somebody comes and he says that he's a bechor, he's ne'eman, right? That's according to Shitat Rabbi Yehuda. According to Rabbanan, he's not going to be ne'eman. Okay? So again, it's a machloket. We don't have the halacha yet. We have a machloket. Fine. Shalach le Rabbi Abba le Rabbi Yosef bar Chama and the sixth halacha. He says like this. He says, Shalach le Rabbi Abba le Rabbi Yosef bar Chama. האומר, תיטול אשתי, אני שמח, יום הולדת שלך, תיטול אשתי כאחד מן הבנים. תחשוב, בן אדם בא ואומר, שהוא רוצה שאשתו יהיה כמו ילד. מה זה אומר? שהיא תירש, שיהיה לה ירושה. So he says, ונוטלת כאחד מן הבנים. And he says, that what? She's going to take like one of them, בתורת ירושה, בתורת, right? מתנה. What does that mean? He says, so mamash, imagine a person comes and he says that he wants his wife to be like one of the kids. That means she's going to inherit just like what? She's going to take it. So, it says, one second. So says the Gemara. Yeah, he says like this. He says, because he was giving it to his wife with Tor, right? A present. Matana. Right? So he says, but the matana was a chelek shaveh b'yirushato ma shenitchayev b'ktuba. So he comes and he says now like this. He says, Amarava, בנכסים של עכשיו ובבנים הבאים לאחר מכאן. He says, this matana is talking about only the נכסים which right now he has, not later on. Because if it's later on, הוא לא יכול. זה כבר מתנה על מה שלא בא. זאת אומרת, הוא יכול לתת מתנה לעכשיו. אז נכון. So he says, she could take the part in the נכסים של עכשיו. And in the banim shabein leachar miken, right? Do the chishuv, right? We're going to come and take in the cheshbon the children that came after the tzava as well. I mean, let's say he has the few children afterwards, right? The wife has to, yeah. He yeah. So therefore, the children that come afterwards, right? The woman has to come and he has to divide it, right, between them as well. Okay, fine. Seventh one, and this is the last one of Rabbi Abba Rabbi Chama. So Shalach le Rabbi Abba Rabbi Chama. Hamotzeh shtar chov el chavero. Imagine right now you take out a shtar chov on your friend, right? And then what happens is the malve omer lo nifrati klum, alove omer parati mechza. Right? Imagine right now, right? We learned it. You find a shtar chov, יפה מאוד. מצאת שטר חוב. עכשיו מה שקרה זה היה, the malve says, לא נפרעתי כלום. הוא לא שילם לי גרוש, אגורה. אתה לא ואומר, what are you talking about? פרעתי מחצה, I paid half. והעדים, מעידים שפרע כולו. The עדים come and they say, he paid the entire thing. Oh, what's going on here? הרי זה נשבע. He's going to swear that he paid minimum of half, yeah? וגובה ומחצה מנכסים מנכורים. And then the malve will only be able to take half, right, from the נכסים מנכורים. אבל משובדים לא, but not נכסים משובדים. Meaning he could not take on a lien property, he could only take from properties which have no lien. So now why? The Amri, because they could say, Ana na edim samchinam. I'm somech on the edim, that really it was completely paid off. But Rabbi Kiva Da'aman, and even according to Rabbi Kiva that he says, Meshiva v'da have, that when you're going to come and you're going to do this, it's considered Hashavat Aveda, which Chachamim say that you're going to be patur from a Shavua, right? That's only if there's not going to be a din. What does that mean like this? Imagine right now, you come to me and you say, retet, fear, right? Yeah? No, right? So he says like this. What happens right now if I come and I tell you, you owe me money? You say, I owe you half. Yeah, I owe you half. So now, that's called מודה במקצת. בדרך כלל מודה במקצת, צריך שבועה, right? צריך שבועה, right? To...
הוא אומר שאני חייב לו. לא. מה אמרת? שאני חייב לך, נכון? כן.
Yeah? So now...
למי חובת הוכחה?
הוא צריך להוכיח.
So he comes and he says like this. Yeah? He comes and he says like this. So now, he says like this. In this case, there's Meshiva Veda, according to Shitat Rabbi Akiva. According to Shitat Rabbi Akiva, בגלל שזה מודה משיבה ודע, which means really באמת, you could have been completely פטור לגמרי. והוא יכול להגיד על חצי, כן? או על לא משנה מה, כן? עכשיו שהוא אמר והוא הודע לחצי, אז עכשיו זה כמו השבת אבדה. In such a case, you did השבת אבדה, according to שיטת רבי עקיבא, he says, really באמת, you don't have to swear. Because Chachamim said, why in the world should he come and why would you force him to do a shavua if he could have said, I don't know you anything. So therefore, the fact that he said that, it's like a Shabbat Aveda. He says, but when does he hold that it's like a Shabbat Aveda? When there's no adim. Why? Because when there's no adim, so then you could say there was nothing. He could say, you only lent me $10, $5, that's it. It was 10,000, $5. So here, the fact that he said that there was a din, so he's not going to come and he's going to say the opposite. So says the Gemara, the opposite. Adrabba, even according to Rabbi Shimon Lazar that argues on Rabbi Kiva, Amar, he says, it is modem imsat. And therefore, that's only if he doesn't have a din. But if he does have a din, for sure it's going to be considered Hashavat Aveda. Why? Because he could just say, I want to go like that. And therefore, I'm patur from everything. So therefore, according to here, even according to Shitat, Rabbi Shimon ben Lazar, Shu Cholek Rabbi Akiva, Mikre Shelanu, he's Meshiv Aveda. Ma? Darash Marzutra Mishmed Rav Shimi Barashi. Was Doresh Marzutra in the name of Rav Shimi Barashi. Hilcheta bechola nishmatta, right? You want to hear? Here's the halacha. The halacha in all of these shmattas is kedeshalach le Rabbi Abba, which means that we're always going to pass like Rabbi Abba, in every single one of these 7 cases, right? הוא אמר 7 דברים, מה הוא אמר? כל אחד מה7 דברים, yeah? Every single one of the 7 things, we paskin like him. So, Amar Ravina Ravashi, says Ravina to Ravashi, the Rav Nachman Mai. What is behemet the dat of Rav Nachman? Because he argued, right, al the second psak of Rabbi Abba. And he said that we're not going to be goveh dechov min avadim. You remember today, how do we start off today's daf? Right? The way that we started off today's daf, right, is that we said that if a person dies, right, and he left over avadim k'na'anim, and now the yetomim, they're yoresh, these avadim k'na'anim. So the hilchata, which that's what Mordechai said, right, the hilchata was, are you collecting from the avadim k'na'anim or not? So that was the machloket that we said at the beginning. So he said that's how we started today. By the way, yeah, fine. Yeah, we spoke about a lot about avadim at one. Elmaleh, so he comes and he says, "En govin matnitila." He says in our Bet Midrash, he says, right, we're going to say the bi'abha en govin chovim min avadim, right? But anu mosifim, and we're going to add on b'chen amar Rav Nachman. That's also the psak of Rav Nachman. So why do we say that the hilchata is like that? So he says, ila puke med Rava, if it's going to exclude from Rava, mosifu, he's adding on the more baravashi, and if it's going to exclude more baravashi, let hilchata. We already passed the halachas not like more baravashi. If it's going to be like Shmuel v'Rav Sheshat v'Rav Papa, haytot was a tiyufta. So says the Gemara, ela la puke med Rabbi Yochanan, we're in Kuf Kaftet Amud Aleph until the 2 dots, but it's coming to exclude Rabbi Yochanan, right? That means to do with the din of Yakir, which argues on the 5th one, right? Which means Rabbi Abba paskin like Rabbi Yehuda. That means Rabbi Abba paskins not like what somebody wanted to say yesterday or 2 days ago. Rabbi Abba paskins like Rabbi Yehuda that the father is ne'eman la'akir et ha'bechor afilu neged chazaka. Yeah, like Rabbi Yehuda against Chachamim. Yeah, so that's how we paskin. La puked Rabbi Yochanan, right? Ulmat me'atkafta de Ravashi. And like the kushya against Rabbi Abba, like more Baravashi.